Okay, let's talk about something truly wild. Lucid dreaming. That state of mind where you're not just watching the movie of your dream, you're suddenly the director, the writer, and the star all at the same time. We're going to break down what it is, the science behind it, and yeah, even how you might be able to do it yourself.
So let me ask you something. Have you ever been in the middle of a totally bizarre dream? You're flying or you're breathing underwater, and all of a sudden this little thought just pops into your head. Hang on a second. This isn't real. I think I'm dreaming.
That, right there, that is a lucid dream. It's this incredible moment where your conscious mind kind of wakes up inside the dream itself. Your body is still fast asleep, but you are aware. You're no longer just along for the ride. You're awake at the wheel. And if you've had that experience, you are in very good company. In fact, research shows that a whopping 55% of adults have had a lucid dream at least once. So this isn't some super rare mystical thing. It's actually a pretty common part of being human.
So the big question is, how does this even happen? What is going on in our brains that allows us to become aware while we're asleep? Well, let's get into the science of it. I like to think of it as waking up the brain's CEO.
And here's the key difference. See, in a normal dream, the part of your brain that handles logic and self-awareness, the prefrontal cortex, or CEO, is pretty much offline. That's why we just accept that we can talk to squirrels. But in a lucid dream, something amazing happens. A part of that CEO wakes up. It creates this wild hybrid state of consciousness where you're still in the dream world, but you've got your logic and self-awareness back online.
For a long, long time, scientists were pretty skeptical. I mean, how do you prove something that's happening inside someone's mind while they're asleep? Well, this is how they cracked the code. The massive breakthrough came in 1975. A researcher named Keith Hearn figured out a way for a lucid dreamer to send signals from inside the dream using a special pattern of eye movements. Think about that. It was the first ever communication from the dream world to the waking world. And now, with modern brain scans, we can see it plain as day. When you clench your fist in a lucid dream, the exact same part of your brain lights up as when you're awake. It's real. And this quote from Keith Hearn himself just perfectly captures how huge this was. It was like getting signals from another world. Philosophically, scientifically, it was simply mind-blowing. You can just feel the awe. This was objective, hard proof that consciousness could exist during sleep. It changed everything.
Okay, so if it's a real thing that we can measure in a lab, the next obvious question is, can you learn to do it on purpose? And the answer is a resounding yes. So let's open up the toolkit and look at how people actually train themselves to trigger lucidity. So these are some of the heavy hitters. It all starts with the basics, like dream journaling, because you can't get lucid if you don't remember your dreams in the first place. Then you have reality checks, which are all about building a habit of questioning your reality during the day. After that, you get into the more specific techniques, like mild, which is a way of setting an intention as you fall asleep, and the famous wake back to bed method, or WBTB. Let's just break down the wake back to bed method because it's one of the most powerful. The idea is pretty clever. You interrupt your sleep after about 5 or 6 hours, right when your REM cycles, your dream cycles, are getting longer. You get up for just a little bit, maybe read about lucid dreaming to get your mind focused on the goal, and then you go back to sleep, carrying that conscious awareness right back into the dream with you. And we have data that shows this stuff really works. A huge international study found that techniques like mild and another one called SSILD have success rates of around 17%. Now, that might not sound like a huge number, but considering how rare these dreams can be, getting one almost every 6th time you try, that's actually a massive improvement. But here's a super important pro tip that experienced dreamers will tell you. You can't just go through the motions. Doing a reality check by just mindlessly pushing your finger against your palm won't do a thing. The key is to be mindful. Every single time you do it, you have to genuinely stop, look around, and ask yourself, am I awake? How do I know for sure? It's that sincere questioning that you want to become second nature. And check this out, another crucial detail from the research. For that wake back to bed method, timing is everything. One study found that your chance of having a lucid dream shoots up by nearly 65% if you manage to fall back asleep within 10 minutes. You're trying to hit that perfect sweet spot between being awake enough to set your intention, but not so awake that you can't fall back to sleep. Okay, this is all fascinating stuff, but let's get to the big question. Why does this matter? Beyond just being a cool experience, what's the point? Well, this is where we start to uncover the mind's hidden power. The potential uses are just mind-boggling. Think about it. You could finally confront whatever is chasing you in a recurring nightmare and take away its power. You could practice a musical instrument or rehearse a big presentation in a perfectly realistic simulator all while you're asleep. It's basically a mental sandbox where you can do anything from solving creative problems to safely working through difficult emotions. And all of this really leads to a final, pretty deep thought. Lucid dreaming is more than just a cool trick of the brain. It's a powerful reminder that the reality we experience every day isn't as solid as it seems. It's an active, ongoing creation of our own minds. And in a lucid dream, for a few incredible moments, we get to pull back the curtain and watch the whole amazing show from the inside.